What's up, everybody? Welcome to the late afternoon show. It's your boy Tim, and you know we're about to let that beat drop. Hey! Let's go, let's go, let's go. It is our season finale of the late afternoon show. It's about to be a vibe today. We're just waiting for folks to come on. Hey. Vibrations. It's 5 o'clock over here. I don't know what time it is where you're at, but it is time to chill and enjoy the late afternoon show. My guest, Professor Tonya Evans, is already ready. She is vibing with us, so we need you to join. Hey, if you don't know how to vibe, just follow me. Who's out here texting me? Do not disturb. Hey. Let's go, let's go. Hey, my man Heyman, what's up, man? We just spoke yesterday. It's good to see you on the live, brother. 7 p.m. That means it's vibing time for you, bro. You give me those good old vibrations. Yo, if you are new to the late afternoon show, it's okay. You're joining us on our last show, but let us know where you're coming from. Milwaukee, thank you so much. Put your the location, where you are, city, state. Let us know where you're joining us from. Hey, follow me. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, just like that. Hey. Guys, we have had so much fun with all the guests that we've had on this show this season. It has been mind-blowing, the amount of learning that we have gotten in the last 3 months or so. Yeah, it's been 3 months. And it is all, hey, Phoenix in the house. What's up, Tata? We got Anne-Marie in the house. What's up? Oh, but she's in Denver. Welcome. But we have learned so much from our guests these last few months, and I am excited. No pressure to Professor Tonya, but we're about to wrap it up today with an entrepreneur, a professor, a lawyer. She does it all. And so we're going to learn a little bit about her journey, meaningful work, and a bunch of other stuff. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. On the same frequency. Dust it off now. Hey, Idaho, what's up, Dr. Mohammed? What's up, Jessica? Welcome. Hey. Vibrations. We're about to come on to the start, and we're going to bring in our guest to the last episode of the late afternoon show. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Here we go. All right, DJ, cut that music off. All right. Yo, guys, we are here on the late afternoon show. It is 5 o'clock where I'm at. It is actually starting to feel like late afternoon. We started this show in the fall, and 5 o'clock was like nighttime. So it almost looked like the late night show. But now it is still light outside. I am here in the shed. Got my little plant here. I don't know why I just got a plant. Like, this aesthetic is so nice, but I'm doing it up. I got a suit on for the professor. I got a plant here. Like, we out here trying to look nice for our season finale. Taban, my man Cosmos in the house. What is up? So we are super excited, guys. Like I said, this is a season finale. We're going to start season 3 in May. We got a nice lineup of guests coming to you live starting in May. And you may have seen the announcement that I posted yesterday that I am going to be offline, right? I'm going to be offline for the next month, really keeping my head down, focused on learning more about meaningful work, really doing things that are in my area of genius, and also working on this dad bod. I'm over here sucking it in right now, so you guys can't really see it, but this quarantine bod has gotten the best of me. So I'm going to use the next 30 days to get fit, get ready for that summer vibe and season 3 vibe. So without further ado, we're about to tell you some of the news that's going on right now, right? So we got COVID vaccinations Big deal. Everybody's trying to do as much as they can to get as many people vaccinated as possible. I know my organization does a lot in the mass vaccination efforts, but different people are doing different things, right? Krispy Kreme was like, yo, you getting your vaccination card, we will give you a free donut, right? Vaccination equals free donut. So my buddy, he may not have really understood how this thing works. He went and got vaccinated 6 times to try and get 6 donuts. So I don't think he quite understood how this thing works. So he's probably not going to get COVID, but his arteries are definitely about to be clogged up like the Suez Canal. You guys remember that Suez Canal situation? Big old ship down in Egypt just couldn't get past us, blocking. I think it was, they were saying like $400 million worth of cargo and commerce that was blocked. I mean, there's billions of dollars that couldn't get past. I mean, big ship was blocking it. So they tried a bunch of different things. They were digging and to try and clear up that blockage. And so finally they were like, you know what? We're going to load up a ship with with Metamucil, and we're going to throw it down there, and boom, clear passage. There is no more blockage in that canal. So that might have gone over some of your heads or under your butts, but either way, it's okay. The thing is cleared up. And in the season of Easter, you know I got to give you these dad jokes. You got to get these dad jokes. So in the season of Easter, we have, I know Taban, he's a daddy out here. Jessica, I think she said when her daughter's birthday is coming up tomorrow. So you guys know about parenting out here and how you got to keep it live and fun and entertaining. So I want you guys to answer this question for me. If you know it, put it in the chat. Let me know. What do you call a line of rabbits that are jumping backwards? All right. What do you call a line of rabbits jumping backwards? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. You got 3, 2, 1. A line of rabbits jumping backwards. A receding hairline. Take that one, guys. You guys can have that one. A receding hairline. Last one for you guys. Last one. What side of a rabbit has the most fur? All right. What side, if you look at a rabbit, right? What side of a rabbit has the most fur? Easy one. The outside of the rabbit has the most fur. Come on, I'm slapping my knee. That was funny. Come on. But guys, without further ado, we just wanted to set the mood, set the vibe. We have a powerhouse in the virtual building today, Professor Tonya Evans. We're dealing with a lot in this world, right? There's so much technology, so much innovation that is bombarding businesses on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes it's hard to figure out, how do we deal? How do we manage all of this thing? So we have the perfect person to talk to us about that. We got Professor Tonya Evans. So I'm going to read her bio here a little bit, and then we're going to turn the music on. She's going to come back here with us. Professor Evans is a global leader, accomplished academic and administrator, and a world-renowned speaker with over 20 years of experience in law, innovation, academia, and entrepreneurship. Dr. Evans currently serves as a visiting full professor at Penn State Dickinson Law School and recently accepted a tenure position to begin July of 2021. Congratulations. Super exciting. And prior to becoming a professor here at Dickinson's Law, she served as a dean of academic affairs and professor of law at UNH Franklin Pierce School of Law, created the law school's blockchain, created and directed the law school's blockchain, cryptocurrency, and law online professional certification program. Needless to say, we are very excited to have her here with us today. And so, guys, without further ado, we are welcoming to the stage the professor, the entrepreneur, the lawyer, the all-around boss lady, Professor Tonya Evans. Hey! Tonya in the house. Hey, get it. Hey, hey, hey. Yo, there's only so much you can do on virtual dancing. Like you got your top half, you got your hands. That's all you can really do. But you were vibing. How are you doing today, Prof?
I tried to do the most. I tried to bring it for you, sir. I am doing excellent. Treating Tuesday like it's a Friday. Let's go.
Let's go. Exactly. You don't have to wait till Friday to experience the joys of whatever folks are waiting for the weekend, right? Folks are thinking about chilling, relaxing. Why wait till Friday? Just do it now. You've worked hard. You deserve it, right?
Look, if the pandemic taught us anything, it's celebrate every day like it's the day. And
100%.
Bring intentionality to every day by enjoying the moment. So it's all good. I'm good. How are you, sir?
100%. Thank you. I love your background, by the way. Your aesthetics. You got the sunflowers there. You got the books. I have this one fake plant that I put here literally today for you. I was like, I've seen all your aesthetics and the things that you do. It's like, I can't just come in here in a janky old shed. Let me put a suit on. Let me put a fake flower here real quick so I can match the vibe. So
magnifique.
Yes. So Professor Tonya, I read a very lengthy bio, and it is probably not even doing justice to the things that you have done, the things that you're currently doing. Would you mind just telling us real quick, of all the things that you have going on, what are you most excited about these days?
Look, at my essence, I'm a writer, a speaker, a teacher, and a lifelong learner. And I know you are as well. And so all of those things and whatever the fancy degrees and the pedigrees and all that, you push that aside. You know, it makes my heart sing to be connected and to have community, and anything that I do professionally has to resonate with that energy. So that's basically at my essence, that's who I am. And the thing that's making me most excited now, I talk a lot, like you do, about the future of work and what that looks like. And I'm, it's like young on the outside, but I'm a seasoned person. I'm a woman of a certain number of years. And so,
that's some good seasoning. That is some good seasoning, Prof. That, man, let me get some of that. Let me get some of that seasoning. Anybody else want some of the seasoning that she has?
I appreciate that. It's like you got to hold on to something. Let the black not crack. At least let's let that together. I've had enough years on this planet to really be excited about the next version of myself and what that means to be the fullness of myself with all of the experience and the expertise, but still be intellectually curious and not afraid to learn something new. And that has translated over these last few years. I know we'll get into it later, but to really create a new lane for myself in academia and in law with something I hadn't really planned for. And that is really focusing on Web 3.0, the future of money. And we'll talk about that later and what that means. So I'm most excited about getting to really reinvent myself and to remain relevant and still ahead of the curve, even when I'm dealing with something relatively new. So that's where my mindset is right now, just focused on being intellectually curious, figuring it out, expertising myself in whatever this new iteration of law and finance and technology, the intersection of that. I'm really excited about that.
I want to ask you something, because you touched on something that I think is very interesting, and it's been a little bit of a theme in the last few conversations that I've had, and that is the idea of reinventing yourself. So, I mean, we were joking and laughing as far as the seasoning and if we can get some of that, but what would you say to folks that maybe are not as seasoned, that are thinking about reinventing themselves, right? So it's like some folks are early in their career, maybe not have put enough tracks, on the road, but feel like they need to change or reinvent or figure out what their lane is. Any advice you would give to folks that are kind of at that crossroads?
Yeah, there are a couple of things, and it's great that you point that out, because I'm Gen X, but the generation before me stayed at a job for 30 years. Evidently, there was some gold watch involved and some pension, like people paid you after you stopped working. I don't even understand what that means, right? In the last 20 years, I've probably worked at 7 different places and created multiple streams of revenue for myself, which required me to figure out, I had to prepare myself not for the jobs that existed today, but the things that don't exist exist yet. That's the way that I treat my students, to prepare them to be future lawyers. The world, not to represent necessarily clients that exist today. That's great. But when you really put yourself ahead of the curve, you're figuring out something that people will need that doesn't quite exist yet. And that requires you to leave a lot of space to figure out, what are people complaining about? What's a problem that you can solve? As a lawyer, I'm a problem solver. And so it's focusing on what are the areas where there's some, we call it kind of in the crypto space is friction. What's the impediment to me meaningfully participating in X, Y, and Z?
Yes.
And everybody can do that in their respective lane, their particular sector or industry. Where are the stopgaps? Where are the things where people are running up against a brick wall? And can you provide a solution to either completely eradicate the brick wall, get around it, get under it? Like, what's the solution? And so focusing on the solutions, oftentimes people are still dealing with problems, and that's how you can get ahead as well. While people are either complaining about the problems, stuck in the problem, you are problem solving around, under, over, through the problem, and then you exercise yourself and create value. So that would be a recommendation for sure.
That is so. I probably maybe 3 weeks ago, I had a session with a brand strategist. I was really trying to figure out this Mr. Meaningful Work brand that I'm creating. I want to understand who my audience is and how to create content that is valuable to them. And one of the exercises that she did for me was talk about exactly that. And when you think about your customers, when you think about your audience, some of them are problem oriented and some of them are solution oriented and some of them are kind of in the middle. And so you want to be able to tailor your communication or tailor your content, keeping in mind where some folks are. Some folks are just looking at like, I can't move. This is a problem. This is a complication that I have right now. And I'm just kind of worried about this, versus what are the things, the people, the resources, the education that'll help me, on a solution side. And there are pockets of value to be created in each of those things. So it's very cool that you pointed that kind of value add for those that are problem oriented and folks that are solution oriented in that space. And one of the big things right now that is probably confusing a lot of folks is this whole cryptocurrency, NFT, like everybody, even me. I saw this guy make $70 million on some JPEG, and somebody else, Jack is about to sell his tweet for who knows how many millions of dollars. I'm like, yo, what can I do? How do I get into this without really understanding what that is? So in layman's terms, would you be able to just provide what are the things that folks should be thinking about when it comes to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, NFTs? Is there like a basic kind of foundational mindset folks should have about this stuff?
Yeah, at its essence, when you think about cryptocurrency, it's another way to interact and transact with someone else without having what we call an intermediary, something like a bank or a government. And it's not against the government per se, although some may differ with me. I'm a lawyer with a law degree and barred in 4 states. I'm not trying to lose my license. So everything I do is state legal and compliant. But think about the way people used to transact with each other before a bank, before organized government in some sense. We lived in smaller circles in a community that consisted of people who we knew and trusted, right? And everybody brought something different to the party, the proverbial party. Yeah. Some people were raising sheep and goats. Some were cobblers making shoes. Some had the corner store. Some were masons. Some were building. And everybody had a skill and they could exchange through barter. And as society started to grow and expand beyond their small circles of trust, they needed a way to continue to transact in business without knowing the tribe that's in another area or someone in another hamlet or town or city or state or country. And what emerged in addition to organized government were these intermediaries, banks, various levels of banks, actually, to say, I might not know Tim, but I know USAA, or I know, whatever bank, fill in the blank of a bank.
Yeah.
And so that trusted institution permitted us to transact. And if anything went wrong, we'd hold them accountable. They were FDIC insured, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward to cryptocurrency that actually goes back to some of those old days. And also think about late 90s, early 2000s, probably more than late 90s, when peer-to-peer technology came on the scene. And it was a way for Napster and Groksters and BitTorrent to remove those intermediaries that were charging a boatload of money for very little content. And so those peer-to-peer technologies allowed us to transact in information. The internet also did that as well. What we can now do with blockchains and cryptocurrency is to transact in value, to exchange and transmit value instead of just information. And that's a really powerful thing, because if I'm sending money to Ghana or Nigeria, I send $1,000 to Nigeria or Ghana. It's a shell of its former self by the time it gets there. It doesn't have the equivalent of $1,000 by any stretch. It takes a long time. It costs a lot of money, usually 8 to 10% when I'm sending money somewhere else. Imagine if I could just send Bitcoin or Ether or some other cryptocurrency relatively cheaply in a short period of time. That's a game changer. And finally, governments are talking about it, thinking about central bank digital currencies, even in the United States and around the world. Big money on the side is getting in. We have Visa and PayPal and MasterCard. You can buy Bitcoin right now on Cash App, right? So, and final point, millionaires, deca-millionaires are starting to get exposure in crypto. We see Elon Musk and businesses putting Bitcoin on their balance sheets. We have to pay attention. It's not going away. Bitcoin has been around for 11 years and counting, and we want to get in the future of money, and that's what it is.
That is, we're definitely going to dig more into that, because I have more questions as far as some of the business applications and some of the things that you do to help folks. Sean says, I only got 60 million for this gift.
You need to work hard on one. You need to work
I need to learn how to make gifts and pictures or songs. I know my little brother, he does music. It's like, man, if I can just get a gallery of songs in there, that can help on the NFT space. And then you talked about value, right? I think that was another thing that came to mind as far as nowadays, or with what Bitcoin does, is the transference of value. And one of the things that I've learned in real estate is that value is, or can be, based on kind of market, like market. The market determines the value, or the value of other things, determine that value. And so, how do you agree on what the value is for something? Given that it's such a nuanced, and flexible thing, is there something in crypto or Bitcoin that helps kind of guarantee and have a middle ground for what that value is?
It's a great question, because in order to figure that out, let's talk quickly about the dollar, for example. The dollar has not been on the gold standard for decades. So what is really providing the value of the dollar? One is demand, but it's based on the full faith and credit of the United States. Another problem about what we call fiat, or government issued currencies, we'll use the dollar as the example. There's no cap on it. One thing Alan Greenspan, former Fed chair, said some years back, but it's still true today, because I need to be fact checked a bit on the actual statistic, but 40% at least of the dollars currently in circulation right now have been printed in the last year. I think it's 43%, but let's just be conservative and say 40 plus. That means that you can be in an apartment today, and a year later, they're going to raise the price, but you're still living in the same place. It's just less valuable. Today, we can buy milk, and we can go a month from now, and it's going to be more expensive. It's the same milk, the same carton. I might even put less in it, but it's going to cost more because of inflation. And so when we think about, I mentioned trust earlier, this idea also in the full faith and credit of a government that supports a currency. It's an agreement. It's an agreement that it has value today and it's going to hold its value over time. It's an agreement that more than just you and me actually hold a particular type of currency. It's an agreement that merchants are actually going to accept this and again, hold their value over time. So, and the final thing is there are not, all cryptocurrencies are not created equally. We'll talk about Bitcoin tonight as kind of not only the OG, but one that has stood the test of time for 11 plus years. And it's most like gold. It is often compared to, although it is certainly a medium of exchange, I could use it to transact and pay for certain things, but it's really right now, it feels more like a store of value. That's the reason that the price has skyrocketed since I started my program to onboard people into the crypto space. I call it From Cash to Crypto. Last year, the price was still under $10,000. So any students that got in with me on the first time, they're literally winning because the price is just south, I think, of 60,000 and climbing. And the reason is Bitcoin, the supply of Bitcoin is capped. So when people talk about Bitcoin versus the dollar or something like that, and I compare it more to gold than the dollar, but let's stick with the currency model. Only and ever will 21 million Bitcoin be minted, created through, we may talk about blockchain. I encourage you to take my free masterclass. I can go into it more in depth and talk to you more about the mechanics of it, but there will always and ever only be 21 million. And right now there are 19 plus million in circulation. We are closer in time to the end of minting than we were at the beginning. So I can only imagine what the price is going to be when there are no more being created and people are still holding, or what we call hodling, in the space. We don't know how much gold there is. Gold seems to be finite. It is tended to hold its value over time, but it's physical when Bitcoin is digital. Difficult to divide and transfer and store gold, but it's easy to divide and transfer and store Bitcoin because it's digital. And so many other things. It's not controlled by a government. Gold is controlled by government. So that's the way I would look at it as you're comparing and contrasting. There are other cryptocurrencies that don't have a cap, so you can't compare an Ethereum or an XRP or a stablecoin to Bitcoin. It's not apples to apples.
I never knew that there was a cap. So for anybody else in here that knew, thank you for not telling me withholding information. I never knew that there was a cap. I thought it was just something that folks can create, perpetually. And that does lend itself to why the value keeps going up, right? So there's only so many. And if folks are starting to adopt it, right? Tesla was saying, you can now buy a Tesla with Bitcoin, and all these other folks that are doing that. But we're going to get more into that. Folks, if you're still here, let me know. We're about to play a quick little trivia game in the spirit of Easter. So we got Easter coming up here in the next couple weeks. So we are going to ask some Easter trivia questions. If you know the answer and you want to help the professor out, you can go ahead and type it in the chat. Our chat is a little bit delayed, so she might not see the answer until afterwards. So, so we are going to play this game. So the second, and it's multiple choice. So I'm sure all your days of testing is done. And
I'm very competitive, and so I'm slightly feeling some anxiety because I'm like,
so you're going to try to get 100%. So everybody, let's see how many. I think we have about 7 or 8 questions here. We may not have time to get through all of them, but if you know the answer in the chat, let us know in the chat. So the second largest holiday for eating candy is Easter. Which is the first? Is it Independence Day, Christmas, Halloween, or Thanksgiving?
Let's go. Who's going to help me out?
Who's going to help her out? We'll give you guys like 5 seconds, so allow for the lag. So we have the second largest holiday for eating candy is Easter. We want to know which is the first. Is it Independence Day? Is it Christmas? Is it Halloween? Or is it Thanksgiving? Hey, my brother Ife is on here. He is screaming. Why are you yelling, bro? Why are you yelling?
Because he doesn't want to see me embarrass myself. But in my heart of hearts, I felt like it was Halloween. I felt like it was Halloween, but just to make sure, I didn't need to phone a friend because I still want to hold it out. There are a lot of questions. I'm going to go with Halloween.
Halloween, is that your final answer?
Final answer.
And Halloween is correct. Thank you, Ife Lara, for bailing the professor and helping her out. All right, so the next one is the idea of the Easter Bunny was originated in the 1700s in what country? What country originated the idea of the Easter Bunny? Was it Russia, the great US of A, Germany, or Great Britain? If you guys feel like you know the answer on this Easter trivia of the idea of the Easter Bunny was originated in the 1700s in what country? Was it Russia, the USA, Germany, or the Great Britain? What do you guys feel it is? We got a few seconds. Professor, you thinking about it?
Yeah, I have an answer. First of all, I'm taking the United States off the map. So I'm focused.
Oh, they don't even qualify? They're not even on the board?
They were not organized. They know what the hell is going on.
1700, we weren't thinking about
Hamilton,
that stuff.
We don't know. So I'm picking them off completely. Right. I need to watch Hamilton again. And
there we go.
I'm removing that. So I'm focused on, now you said Germany or Russia, and what was the UK? I'm taking the UK off too. They had their own problems.
So we got Great Britain. So you're taking Germany. You're getting the Great Britain off. So the last options are Russia and Germany.
I'm going Germany. Germany. Final answer.
You're going with Germany? Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You got it. Let's go.
You're kidding me.
It is Germany. Wow, that is really good. I didn't even know that until I flipped the page right now. So.
You're kidding me. Look, this is how I got through the LSAT, and this is how I got through law school with honors. So
let's go. Dust your shoulders off. There you go. There you go, boss. He says at Easter Islands. All right, we're going to take, let's see our time here. We're going to do one more question. And actually the second question, the third question kind of goes with the first one. The idea of, we're going to go to the next one. The most popular American Easter candy is what? The most popular American Easter candy, is it chocolate bunnies, marshmallow peeps, jelly beans, or chocolate cream-filled eggs? The most popular Easter candy in America is chocolate bunnies, marshmallow peeps, jelly beans, or chocolate cream-filled eggs. Anybody in the chat, do you guys know any of our sweet teeths out here? What do we feel that it is, Professor?
My two favorite things are on the list, and you either love or hate Peeps. So I have to America loves chocolate. Peeps are very popular, but does that mean that I guess somebody's buying them? But I don't know if it's. I love
your deductive reasoning. I love it. She is out here dissecting this candy.
You're like, when I put this game together, I had no idea.
I am learning. This is a masterclass right here.
So it's tough, and I'm looking at the chat, and they're as divided as I am.
Oh, yes, we got candy corn. We got, Empress.
Right.
You don't remember? So it was chocolate bunnies, marshmallow peeps, jelly beans, and chocolate cream-filled eggs.
I'm going jelly beans.
You going with jelly beans?
I'm going to be super sad if it's Peeps because I also love that. But I'm going to jelly beans, and not just any jelly bean. It's got to be a Jelly Belly, or it's dead to me. So I'm judgmental about jelly beans.
I didn't even know other jelly beans existed. I didn't know. I don't think they're even. So your answer was jelly beans, and the answer on the page is marshmallow peeps. Marshmallow peeps. Oh, Dr. Muhammad, Jessica, you got it. She must have an inside track.
Right? Darn it.
She got it. No worries. But no, thank you so much for playing here with us. And we want to move back into our questioning here, learning a little bit. Folks, if you don't know, we got Professor Tonya Evans here with us. She is an entrepreneur. She is a practicing lawyer. She's a professor at Penn State, at the School of Law there. Can you just tell us a little bit about your business, Madam CEO, Madam President, Madam Boss? Tell us a little bit about the company that you founded.
So yes, thank you. So in May of last year, I founded the Advantage Evans Academy. We have 3 pillars or 3 tracks for education, particularly for underestimated and marginalized communities. And I focus on 3 areas, all in the future, as we talked about earlier, the future of money. So I have the full 365 days a week on-demand evergreen program called From Cash to Crypto. There's something for everyone. So there's a small, discrete module that is like 90 minutes. You get in, you figure out what a wallet is, you figure out what crypto is, you buy your first crypto, and then you decide if you want to proceed.
Nice.
Then and that's called Explore. And I wanted to provide a really just basic, accessible module that is self-guided, that anybody can make their way through. And then I have Core, which most people seem to settle on. It introduces you to the topic and a lot of the things that we talked about, but I just go into greater depth. Then they set up a wallet, then also an exchange account, and start to learn about the different types of cryptocurrencies, about exchanging cryptocurrencies, et cetera. And then there's the full bells and whistles, the Encore program, which is a multi-lesson 10-module experience that you have access to, is self-guided, but also for Core and Encore, live coaching, bi-weekly coaching from me. And I've recently hired mentors because the course and the academy has grown so large. It was bigger than me, which is always the benefit. There's so many Black women in particular from around the diaspora, but all people, it's open to all people. But I think Black women see me and they trust me, and I'm a professor, a lawyer, all those other things. And maybe they're a first generation investor, usually in the real estate industry, because real estate folks get it, right? That you're buying, and sometimes stocks and everything, but they're afraid because it sounds like drug money and something that's out there and crazy they don't understand. But many of them take the Encore experience to learn, in addition to everything else I said. Now we're learning passive ways to earn Bitcoin in particular. Reading charts. So there's some lessons from the stock world, but how does that apply in the crypto world? Learning about Bitcoin for estate planning, for taxes, and for security. So bringing my legal acumen as well. So Encore is the more robust plan where you learn not just how to get in, how to invest, how to passively earn, but also how to really strategize. And then the final thing is a future of work portion that focuses on what is blockchain or distributed ledger technology, and how can you reskill or upskill to be relevant for the future of work. And then that takes me to the other pillars, the future of work and the future of entrepreneurship. And so I'm actually going to be adding the content of other folks who are working specifically in future of work and future of entrepreneurship. I would like very much to talk to you after we finish this about something, if you care to add some content. 50-50 split. It's just about, nation building and providing other options, because I have a ton of students who want to find out what's next. And so it's really exciting this year to have the vision this summer to start releasing the work of others in one of those 3 pillars: the future of money, future of entrepreneurship, and the future of work. So it's really exciting. I have 3 masterclasses coming up, as I mentioned earlier, and all of that is at advantageevans.com. And so it's a really exciting time to begin to not just have that foundation, but to really grow from it.
I had to mute my mic because we got the dog here, but oh my goodness. I mean, you are literally the one-stop shop. I'm listening to the different stages and modules and value and the offerings that you have. And it's really from somebody that is completely brand new, unawares. How do I even understand this stuff? Self-guided, on demand, just kind of grab it and go, bite size, figure it out, to the person that is saying, hey, this is what I want to do. And I want the strategies. I want the insights. I want, when folks say as an investor, go and do your research, right? Always research. Yes. Sometimes as somebody who doesn't really know how to do, it's like, where do I go? Like, what does go and do your research mean?
Right.
They can literally just go to advantageevans.com and get that research, and not just the book work, but guidance, the mentorship, right, the conversations, because sometimes you need anecdotes, right? Sometimes you need experiences and all those different things. So, wow. And so what made you come, you say you started May of last year. Like, what was the thing that happened that you're like, you know what? I need to do my own thing in this space. What was that for you?
Some of it was the ability to create a space where I could be available to people 24/7 when I am not physically available to people 24/7. I was being contacted because of the program that I created at UNH Law that you mentioned earlier, the first blockchain cryptocurrency and law online certificate program. And that engendered a lot of questions. And I'm happy to do that. I spend all of my not so free time on the interweb and these internet streets, but I can't be everywhere. I can't speak everywhere. I can't do consultations all day, every day, because my primary responsibility is to my law students, right? And to making sure I'm showing up for them. So I was doing so many speaking engagements and other things. I decided, how about packaging this in a way that's available 24/7? I didn't start 24/7. And if I had waited until everything was perfect, because Lord knows I'm a high achiever. I do not claim overachiever, but I do sometimes need to go sit down somewhere, right? But it's a way to, technically work smarter, not harder, and how people refer to that. How can I be available? So the first version was a 3-week, I was taking cohorts, and I didn't have anything really recorded or anything like that. But for 3 weeks, I would show up once a week. I would record our time together, and then I would provide resources. And every time I did that, that recording became part of the curriculum. The resources became a part of the curriculum. So I was building the course as I was going. I also invested in Course from Scratch, which is done by Danielle Leslie, a way to really figure out who my primary focus should be with her strategy and process for building. Basically, I was building the plane while I was flying it, which for me, someone who's very color inside the linesy, that does not always make me feel great. But it was a great way to get to know in real time the needs of people. And at first, I opened it up to many different people. But again, Black women in particular, women of color, people of color were flocking to the experience to find out, I don't want to go to YouTube University anymore. Just please tell me what I need to do and make sure that I'm not going to be harassed by the government, right? And so that led to what you see now, which is a more mature program. I do a high premium event, 5 one-on-one clients per year. It's called Encore Ace. And so they, in addition to all of the material, they pay really for my time, show up and to work one-on-one with them as well. So truly something huge to something that's very, very accessible, something for everybody.
One of the things that I heard in your story that I really appreciate is that you saw the need, right? So it's like folks are coming to you asking these questions, right? So it's like the demand is there. And I often tell folks, and when they're talking about, how, when I'm thinking about creating a new business or being an entrepreneur, one of the things to think about, even when just thinking about your own strengths, right? When you're trying to figure out what your strengths are, it's like, what do people come to you for, right? What do people ask you naturally, or maybe just not even knowingly? And if you can monetize that or package that in a way that adds value to folks, and you don't have to start big, right? You just got to start, right? Like you said, you just started. I'm going to take a few guys for a few weeks, and that is going to be the thing. And you take that card and you add it to the block, right? So now this becomes a course, and then you take the next cohort and you keep doing that until you can start scaling it. But it starts off with what is your strength, right? What are people coming to you for? What is your expertise? And then you can then take that and turn it into something.
Absolutely. And you have to get to know yourself too. So oftentimes, and you were talking about just various things in the crypto space, there's so much FOMO, fear of missing out, that is coming, head on and butting up against FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And so both of those things energetically just pull away from authentically, without any BS, without anybody shilling coins, like take all of that off. I hope that people will invest in particular in Bitcoin, but it doesn't move my needle one way or another if they do. I don't have a dog in the fight. It's about the education of the space and people being reasonably informed, having the tools necessary to make their own decisions. And I know our community in particular is really good at that. We're cautious, we're conservative, but you give us the right information and leave us alone, and then we'll figure it out. Women are very much like that as well, very prudent, very cautious, been burned. But once you get the right information in a way that's meaningful and you can see the value, not in this generation, but also in future generations, it's critically important to participate in the future of what money is going to look like and what value is going to look like in this next iteration of the internet, right? When we're not, again, exchanging just information, but value, because we missed the dot-com boom. It was a boom, bust, and settling into what the mature internet that we see now before we knew what was going on. We have a really interesting opportunity right now to use the same technology that kind of kept us on the sidelines to really participate meaningfully. And that's why I love decentralized finance and the idea, we're not there yet, but the idea of a more decentralized web. Because when I think of marginalization that has happened in technology and that has happened at finance, and crypto lives at the intersection of those, right? So it's just a microcosm of the other concerns and the problems and the challenges, but it's a unique opportunity to really figure this out because most people still don't get it. Most people are either still afraid of it or don't even know it. So sometimes people say, oh my God, it's 60,000. And oh my God, this is too late. They said that 1 month ago. They said that 1 year ago. They said that 10 years ago. It's not too late, given what I said earlier. So get in the game, figure it out. Read this book. Let me see. I'm like reversed, so I have to do this. Read this book here, Bitcoin and Black America. Regardless of where you come from, it is something for everyone to really figure it out and then figure out what your move is from there.
I love that. We'll put that. So I normally publish like a recap tomorrow, some of the highlights of what we talked about. So I'll definitely put that book in there as a reference. And when you talk about, the future of money, I hear a couple themes, right? We're talking about decentralized. We talk about, the transfer of value. If somebody was to ask you for a quick synopsis or a definition of what is the best way to describe the future of money, how would you define that for somebody?
So when I think about the future of money, Bitcoin will be a firmly established currency. There are over 8,500 different types of cryptocurrencies. And just like there were hundreds of different .coms, eventually the ones that weren't going to survive fell away. And I imagine that that's going to happen in the crypto space as well. It happens with every iteration of new technology. And that's the part of innovation. That's actually not bad. That's literally a part of innovation. But what is also going to be around, separate and apart from Bitcoin, perhaps being the global reserve, which is why it's great to have it and hold it for now and just figure it out. But decentralized finance, something that currently is not exactly happening on the Bitcoin side, but with other types of cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. And the Ethereum blockchain is a different type of blockchain. It doesn't function in the same way that the Bitcoin blockchain does. And I'll just say simply what a blockchain is basically a digital record of transactions and balances. That's all a blockchain is. And in most cases, it's a database, but it's in a decentralized fashion. There's not one person or entity that runs and verifies a blockchain. It's verified by math and software. And it's open source software, so you can actually see it. People don't trust each other, they trust the code. And so that might be a story for another day. But based upon that, the Ethereum network or virtual machine is basically like a world computer that is the type of program or protocol, I should say, software that allows other platforms to run on top of it. And we call that decentralized finance. So there are decentralized applications running on top of the Ethereum blockchain. And what does that allow to do? DeFi has like the potential to completely revolutionize or reinvent financial systems. It merges like the scale and familiarity of traditional economies with the security and efficiency and transparency of public blockchains. And that is going to really be important for innovation and growth. It allows people who may not be able to get a loan at the bank, but if you have Bitcoin, you can loan that out, you can leverage it, you can receive different types of cryptocurrency back, you can receive dollars back and actually use that loan. So you don't need a credit score, you don't need all these other things, you don't need a bank telling you that you don't belong, you just need Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency to leverage. So that's one of the many really exciting things that you can do in the decentralized finance or DeFi space that you can't currently do now with traditional finance.
Man, and it's probably going to take. And do you see particular generations responding either faster or slower to these changes? Like, is there an assumption that, because millennials or Gen Z are in that space, they'll adopt it faster or sooner, or the older generations, X or the more seasoned generations, X or boomers, because they've seen how traditional finance works, it's like, oh yeah, this is a much better way. Have you seen that kind of shift generationally of folks that are adopting it faster or slower?
It's rough with boomers, but I will say that I've had some 65 plus people participate, women in particular, participate in my courses, and they do great. My mom is in it. She texts me almost every day, like, have you seen Bitcoin? I was like, bless her heart, you better get it. Get it, Mom. Right? I think of some of the other women who are in because they want some exposure, but most boomers are missing it. When I think of my conversations with money managers at various institutions, I won't put them entirely on blast, but you can just across the board, except for like the Fidelities of the world, most of them have continued to say, this is garbage, this is ridiculous, no, right? They're getting left behind because it's becoming a customer service issue. Millennials get it, Gen Z gets it, Gen X, we're super cautious because we were latchkey kids, largely left alone. So have difficulties with trust, but we also, and we're not digital natives like millennials and Gen Z, right? Yeah. I was one of the first to have a phone in my car. Like, I know y'all. Right? I was a genius with my bag phone in my car. Like the first one to have a computer in my room where people were going to the computer lab at Northwestern, went to Northwestern undergrad. So Gen Z, millennials, they get it really because look at Cash App. Everybody, if you have Cash App, go to the 4th tab in Cash App. You'll be able to buy Bitcoin. It's ubiquitous at this point, right? So everybody get it now. Open up your Cash App.
Opening up my Cash App.
If I have my phone near me, this is not my way of getting out of this exercise.
I'm opening up my Cash App.
Open up your Cash App. Go to that 4th tab.
Oh, so you guys can see there's a little button there on the car. That is what? Can you guys see that? Hello.
That's right.
Hey, 58993.
It's brilliant.
I left that in my other pants pocket. I got
This is the final point about Bitcoin. You can buy a fractional interest.
Pieces of it, right?
Pieces of it. It goes to 8 decimal points. Each the smallest unit of a Bitcoin is called a Satoshi in honor of the person, whoever he, she, or they are. It's a mystery. We don't know. So might as well be a woman. We don't know. But a Satoshi is
sounds about right. Yeah.
It sounds about right. So become a Satoshi millionaire, right? Become a Satoshi millionaire and let's figure it out. Let's get in the game, figure it out. And you have all these opportunities and avenues to actually buy. BlackBitcoinBillionaires.com is one of the hottest clubhouse rooms right now. They have crypto newbie, which basically means you're new to the game. Maybe you haven't bought or you bought on Cash App but don't exactly know what to do next. They have great educational pieces going probably every day.
No.
We got to get in the game.
Yeah. No, I feel it. And I mean, I have. You saw the question. I said I have so many. This is going to be like a 4-hour 4-hour session. And so I know some folks are on the East Coast. You're on the East Coast, right? You're on the East Coast. Yeah. Some folks got. Say that again?
I have class in the morning.
You got class in the morning, so we won't take up too much of your time. But I do want to ask you this one question, right? The whole idea of what I've been doing over the last year or so is really trying to understand meaningful work, right? So making this oftentimes very cliche, meaningful work, just kind of thrown around. Make it practical, make it real, make it chewable, right? So folks can actually apply it. So I've been asking smart folks like yourself, what does meaningful work mean to you? And how do you apply meaningful work to, based on that definition, how would you apply that to the work that you're doing?
So when I think of meaningful work, it's two things: something I do well and something I do gladly. Something that's not a chore to show up for every day. And that I have a level of expertise, and that takes time. That's something that's going to grow over the arc of your career. I continue to educate myself in new things to remain relevant, but I also show up gladly with a full and willing heart. That doesn't mean that every day is perfect, but it means I do love it. And that's slightly different than my passion. I have great passion projects. I'm a foodie. I'm an enophile. I will talk somebody's ear off just even trying to order, from appetizer to dessert, and whether the wine is from Provence or, right, if it's a red, was it lightly oaked? How was the toasting? Is it French Allié barrels? Right, don't go out with me. It's a disaster, right? So I have passions. Yeah. So it's not making any money, and I might even, something like that. So, but being passionate and willing and eager to show up and do work that keeps the lights on. That's what I think about when I think about meaningful and engaging work, and being able to show up as my full self.
Yes.
It's been the case, but I'm grateful, one, to be an academic. It's a very free and freeing. It can be restrictive. I happen to be in a fantastic place. Penn State Law is a fantastic law school. Dean Danielle Conway, a Black woman. She happens to be a Black woman, is exceptional. So I love what I do, and I'm there because I want to, not because I have to be. I love it. So that's when I think of meaningful work, that's what it means to me.
I love it. Work that you do well and work that you do gladly. I think that is, sometimes there are themes, right, in folks kind of defining meaningful work, but I'm always amazed when something comes out that's unique, right? That's a different take on it. And so work that you do gladly, because there's some work that you can do well that you don't necessarily gladly do, right? It's like I'm good at this. Yeah. I don't necessarily like it though. And so that combination there is very important. So Professor, we are going to let folks go. For folks that hung out with us, more power to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this season finale of the Late Afternoon Show. We're going to kick things back up in May. We do have our guest slots almost full. We do have a few openings. So if you, the Meaningful Work audience, our family, if you guys think of a topic that you would like to have discussed, or a speaker or somebody you feel like, hey, they would vibe with Tim, this would be a great show, we want to hear what they say, please let me know. I'm going to be offline for the next month. So email me, Tim@MrMeaningfulWork.com. Tim@MrMeaningfulWork.com if you want to stay in touch. Some folks have my cell number, and so if you do have that, let's stay in touch that way. But if you guys are interested in anything that you heard today, and you guys saw me, I was leaning in, I almost jumped into the computer because this was like a masterclass for me, learning from Professor Evans. AdvantageEvans.com, right?
That's right.
AdvantageEvans.com. You have the whole library there. And you guys just met the CEO. You guys just met the boss. So you're welcome for that introduction. And Tonya, anything else that you want to share before we let folks go tonight?
Wherever you are, start there. The enemy of perfect is good. And there is no wasted effort at all. When I think about my very non-traditional path to what I'm doing right now, all of those things have informed my ability to show up fully, authentically, unapologetically, and gladly, for sure. Since we're adding that into the mix. So start where you are. The best investment you will ever make is in yourself and in your future. So let's grow.
Let's grow. Let's grow. And with that, we are going to say adios. Sayonara. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will catch you back in May. Let us know what you think in the comments. Shoot me an email, and we'll talk to you soon. Until next time, love, peace, and live a meaningful life. Bye-bye.